हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू शॉर्ट हैंड सुपरफास्ट राइटर्स। दोस्तों, आप सब चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन को दबाएं डेली शॉर्ट हैंड डिक्टेशंस के लिए। आज की डिक्टेशन है ट्रांसक्रिप्शन नंबर 159 वॉल्यूम नंबर 8 से। बी रेडी। 10 सेकेंड्स, 5 seconds, start. Sir, at the outset, I may mention that government is not in a position to accept this resolution. I cannot also subscribe to the assumption which is contained in this resolution. The assumption is that there is shortage of agricultural labor in the country. Sir, we have had inquiries conducted with regard to this matter. There has been the agricultural labor inquiry conducted by the Ministry of Labor in the year 2010-11, and there have been the inquiries conducted under the auspices of the Planning Commission, and I do not want to tire the House with the figures contained in the Labour Inquiry Committee report and also in the chapter on agricultural workers which is contained in the 12th 5-year plan. Suffice it to say that the conclusion arrived at by the Planning Commission is that about 30% of rural families are agricultural laborers, and according to the Planning Commission, this vast number presents a very serious problem. It is also the conclusion of the Planning Commission that the present agricultural production in the country could be maintained with about 75% of the number of workers now engaged in it. Sir, it is true, as has been stated by my friend, that there may be certain pockets in different parts of the country where there may be shortage of agricultural labor. But taking an overall view of the position in the country, the problem really is that it is not one of shortage of agricultural labor but one of unemployment and underemployment, and that is why, sir, so many steps have been suggested by the Planning Commission, such as expansion of work opportunities within the rural economy, especially through intensive development of village and small scale industries, and also adoption of a measure of redistribution of land and provision of educational facilities and concessions to raise the social status and enable agricultural labor to develop greater confidence, initiative, and ability to avail themselves of all economic opportunities. There are also suggestions of the Planning Commission which require us to improve the living conditions of the agricultural laborers. Sir, with regard to the point that there are certain areas in which there is excess of agricultural labor and certain areas where there is real shortage, I have to say that there are plans which have been adopted. Then, sir, a point has been raised by the mover that in certain peak seasons there is real difficulty in finding agricultural labor. I may state that there is some difficulty experienced during harvest time and the weeding season when there will be the outbreak of monsoon when replanting of seedlings will have to be done, but the situation is not so as to warrant the appointment of a committee to go into this question at all. I would say, sir, had it not been for those circumstances existing in certain peak periods when agricultural labor is in a position really to dictate terms, it is horrible to conceive of their lot in the slack seasons so that we have to put up with that situation. Even in those seasons, as we find there may not be lack of personnel, but the labor may be in a position to dictate terms. They may demand and get increased wages in that particular period, whereas they may have to be satisfied with very low wages in other parts of the year. So, sir, I feel that it is not possible for the government to accept this resolution. Taking India as a whole, as I have stated, to meet this question of underemployment, we have provided in the 12th 5-year plan 40 crores of rupees for assisting in the settlement of landless agricultural workers, and crores of rupees are proposed to be spent by states for the resettlement of landless agricultural workers. The main lines of development in this regard are encouragement of cottage and small scale industries, large increases in agricultural production, including animal husbandry and horticulture. I may also state for the information of the House that the Ministry of Labour are conducting, with the help of the National Sample Survey, another agricultural labour inquiry to investigate into the scope of employment and living standards of agricultural labourers, and this inquiry is expected to bring forth information on all aspects of the subject. The points raised by the mover from the subject matter of the inquiry that would be conducted. Sir, with regard to the questions raised by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they are larger questions and they are dealt with in the 12th 5-year plan itself. The government is taking necessary steps in the direction of consolidation of holdings and the latest position of the Planning Commission itself is that it would render aid in the matter of consolidation of holdings so that there may not be fragmentation. The greatest importance there that has been attached to developments in cooperation is quite unknown to the honorable members. I crave the indulgence of the House for making this statement on the opening day of the Parliament, as I wish to take honorable members into confidence at the earliest opportunity about the extremely difficult foreign exchange position in which we find ourselves at present. our foreign exchange reserves have declined more or less steadily during the current fiscal year. Some decline during the months of April September when export receipts are usually low, is a normal feature of our balance of payments. The decline in reserves during April September 2004, however, was almost twice as large as in the same period of 2003. The decline in reserves has continued during the past 4 or 5 months when we should normally be gaining reserves in order to meet the requirements of the coming lean season for exports. On February 12, 2005, the foreign assets of the Reserve Bank stood at about rupees 7,000 crores. As honorable members are aware, the Reserve Bank is required to hold a minimum rupees 8,000 crores of reserve in the form of gold and foreign securities. The Reserve Bank has been able, in fact, to abide by this requirement for some time only on the basis of a transfer to the Bank of Gold which the government had acquired over the years. Thanks for watching. Do like, subscribe, and share.